Hello, in this video, Keysight Cyperf will go head to head with the tool Iperf for testing connection scale in cloud and understand if there are any limitations in either of this tool. For this particular demo, we have created a very simple setup in Azure where we have used same instances D16 DSV4, 16 vCPUs, pretty high compute speed instances, and we have installed both Iperf and Cyperf agents in this system. Everything is within the same VNet, and we will try to do the comparison as much similar in both tests as is possible. Let's go to Iperf first. There are two putties that I have opened. The right side represents my server, test agent 2, and my left side represents client. Okay, and let's start the server first. So I will do this command. This is Iperf 2, and we have the server listening now. And in the client side, let's start the client at port 80, which is where I started the server, with just 10 parallel connections and 1 byte of page size. So the window size will not matter. As you can see, the small size page and 10 connections, it opens almost instantaneously, and we will start seeing them sending traffic, and we'll see some traffic at the end of the test. So 10 connections works great. So let's increase it a little bit. So I'll close this test and clear it out, and now I will try to go to something like 300. So we see the connections started to open up at the server, definitely not as fast anymore, and we'll give it some time, right? And let's come back to the screen after a few minutes. Now we saw it started opening a bunch of connections. So if we go through and start seeing the connections, we see certain connections starts getting resets, and you will see more and more connections getting reset as you go with more parallel connections, like above 310, 20, 350. So you can see that if I was concluding from the data points with Iperf, I would think that at the most we can support around 300 parallel connections between these two instances. Now let's go to Cyperf and see if it's able to give some more numbers, better analysis with its stack. This is my Cyperf dashboard. So rather than creating a test ground up, I'll try to go from my browse configs, go to my Cyperf cloud configs, and see if we have some default configs for this. So we are expecting, so this is my Azure config that I can see from the name that has been set for high performance CPS tests. So it's been configured for 30,000 CPS because that's what our QA found out when they ran this HTTP communication with CPS. Now let's add those agents. So these are the same two agents that we have. So I will add the role client for one of them. You can see I have tagged them so that I can remember, and the role server, exactly which one was used as server for the Iperf. These are the management IPs. The testnik will still be 172.16.3.5. Let's run this test and see what we can achieve. So this is an HTTP CPS test between two Azure instances that are in the same VMnet. Now I kept the test running for a few seconds, and you can see Cyperf, through its goal-seeking algorithm, quickly adjusts the connections, and it's able to reach close to 30,000 parallel TCP/HTTP connections, and almost all of them generating traffic simultaneously, hence proving these two Azure instances can do much more than what Iperf was telling us. And you can also see other statistics, like if there are TCP failures, send retries, what's my latencies, and every other detail that you need to know to properly characterize these instances. Now, before I discuss the verdict, I need to make sure it's clear that we are not trying to put down one tool over other. Iperf definitely has its value of finding bandwidth and many other things, but just wanted to show you in terms of scale, CPS, concurrency, how it can sometimes be underwhelming, especially in cloud distributed instances. So we see, and we have run this test quite a few number of times to ensure we have reliable, repeatable data that we can quote on. Iperf generally scales to its limits at around 300. Iperf 3 doesn't even scale beyond. You cannot go beyond 128 connections, whereas Cyperf can go 30,000 plus stateful HTTP TCP connections. Thanks a lot for listening.